Hi there, crafters. This is Pam with Pam's Paper Place, and we're going to continue on to, I believe this is part 3. This we last did was this little card here, and then we made this tuck right here, and then this was the same that we did on the other side here of this thicker paper that was in the middle. So I just did that on my own, using the little stencil here. So I've already showed that. And then I'm just following along with the journal that I've already made, and I did sell one and send that out. And then this one will be mine, and then this one will be probably a giveaway down the road. So we're going to work on this page here. So we're going to need this for the tuck, and then these two. We will need to ink these, and then we'll coffee dye them. So just ink all this, and then we're going to sew around this one. I'm going to put coffee dyed paper on the back. Sew, and if you don't have a sewing machine, that's fine. You can even just take a pen and do a little false sewing if you wanted to. And then this one, also ink that, or glue coffee dyed paper, and then I just took a punched out tab. If you don't have a tab, you can even put a little circle there. You can put fabric there, lace, whatever you like. So I'm going to back these two with coffee dye, sew around them. But let's first put this little tuck down on this page. And we're just going to ink it on, or I say ink and I mean glue. Glue it on the back right there and there. So we'll just give that a little ink. Put that down here. Well, then also we're going to take some of this, if you have it. Not, you could add lace, or you don't even need to do it. But I did on mine put this. It's like a paper vine. And I added it here. So cut that off. I might as well just put it on now. And I guess you could just use your glue stick, but I find I can still add this with my art glitter glue. Doesn't have glitter in it, just dries clear. So we'll get that started there. And then we'll just keep going with that. I'll just keep adding my glue. Kind of hard for you to see. So I'm going to continue with that. It just gives it another little special touch. Use what glue you have. Brings out that green there too. It's getting nice outside here in Michigan, so I will be going outside after this, enjoying the weather while we can. Just bring that there and I can trim up the bottom. Add more glue if I need to. Okay, so let's add our coffee dyed paper to the backs of this. If you don't have it, you could probably just ink up the back. And I didn't sew around this one, I just added a tab, and I did sew around wonky stitching, so I won't go all the way to the edge when I glue, so the machine doesn't get the ink. I mean the glue. Why do I keep saying ink? So the sewing machine doesn't get the glue. Okay, I'm going to cut those out. I'll just cut this one out. I'll cut that out, and then I'm going to stitch around, and I'm going to add this tab to the top, and then I will return. All right, I put coffee dyed paper on the back, added this little tab, and inked it a little bit. This one I did some stitching and then added coffee dyed paper to the back. So these are ready to go in here. And then this page, we're going to add a little grid paper. That's about 4 by 4, just a little scrap printed up. This is not coffee dyed. And then we're going to make a little flip tuck. So we'll just fold it like that, diagonally. And there we have it. You can ink it a little bit. And then we'll glue it on 2 sides. So when you put it here, this will flip up, and then it will also be a little tuck. So we're going to glue here and here. Put that there. And then this will be writing space, and then you have your tuck. Then we will be adding these 2 tags. Trim this a little bit, threads. So, or whatever tag you want, but these are the 2 that I'm using. I'll be using these 2. They're coffee dyed on the back, and then this one has a little seam binding. And those will tuck in there. So we'll get these 2, and then we're going to put them on some coffee dyed paper, like so. We'll glue that, and then I'm going to do a zigzag stitching all the way around here, and then zigzag around here, and that's all for that page. Okay, now that we have our little stitching done, we can ink if we'd like. Tad bit. And this I'm going to punch a hole in here. Here's my hole punch. And then using these inked up hole enforcers, adding those. Okay, and then we'll add some seam binding, and then we can just take this a little bit. And then you might want to add some glue to some places, because if you don't go to the very edge with your stitching, paper can come up. So just add some more glue. And then we'll just add these to our little flip tuck. We got that one. And then we have this one. I try to remember not to throw my pins. I'm trying to put them in this little... this used to go on your wrist, and I just threw it in this little tin. So I try to remember to put my pin in there so I'm not always losing it. And we'll add a little seam binding. And then we'll be ready to go to the next page. Pretty. Then here on this one, I just took some other extra coffee dyed paper. You can print this. This is, I think it's 5.5, about 5.5 by the length of your book. Do I have this cut right? Yeah. So for this particular one, it's 8 1/4. And then I'm going to, you could just fold it, or you could use a little, what is this? Scoreboard. And then mark about 1/2 inch. So that this is gonna be a fold out. And then we'll glue it. So it's gonna be not this page, I don't think. Oh yeah, it is. It'll be on the back of this page here. So we're gonna fold it on that 1/2 inch, or just, where is it now? Here. On that, that's about 1/2 inch there. And then we're gonna add that, I don't know, did I do the wrong edge? I did. Supposed to be on the other side and open up this way, but you know what? We could do it this side. And it will just open up this way. So that's our fold up. So we're going to glue it where we folded it right here. Okay. I'll put a little plastic here. And you can use whatever paper you want. You don't have to use what I've chosen. Okay, I should have gone up just a little bit. I need to add a little more glue here. And there we have our fold out page. So you can put that out like that. And then here, this little tulipy page, we are going to add a butterfly. And I think I used a butterfly, a Tim Holtz butterfly right there. And where is it? Let's see. I'm going to look for one. I don't want to have you watch me dig on here, but then I'm going to find a butterfly for a tuck. I use this butterfly. If you don't have that, you can just use something else. Just do a circle, do a flower. So that's what I'm going to look for. See if I have one of those. Okay, I did find one, and it was in this Tim Holtz Ideology Botanical. So I found it in the botanical one. It's not the exact same one, but it's a butterfly like that. And then I'll tuck that in there. So we'll make a tuck out of this, and I'll just glue on the little ends here. And it's a thicker cardstock, so that will be nice to hold that. And then the tags that I put in there was this one, and then I just cut a piece of the cardstock, and I will glue these two on some coffee dyed paper. Oh, that'll fit just right there. And this is about 2 1/4 by 4. You can make it whatever you'd like. And then actually I used one of these Paper Studio. It has the different size, 1 1/2, 2 and 2 and 2 1/2. This is not exactly those sizes, but I found you can still put that in there, punch it, and you still have this little decorative topper for your tag. So let's glue these on. I didn't stitch. I just added a whole reinforcer here, and then we'll add some fabric to that. Alrighty then, I put my coffee dyed paper on here, glued it, and you can just ink it a little more if you like. And this one is ready to be tucked into the little butterfly here. This one, okay, we'll continue on. My phone cut out at about 15 or 20 minutes, so we just had put coffee dyed, glued that to the back here and tucked it in this little butterfly, back that, and then I just punched the hole and added the reinforcements there. And on this one I just used a scrap of fabric. This is for the tie. I'm just gonna snip a little bit and rip. And then this will just be the real pretty tie that we'll put through here. I think I just put it through like this. And just tied it. Like so. I could trim that off too a little bit later, but that goes there. I think I'm gonna trim it. Okay, so there's that. On this page, I took another Whatever You Choose from the Catch a Butterfly kit by Elsie Bell's Bookshelf, and then I cut a piece about 4 1/4 by 4. You could do 4 by 4, and then I just sewed around. And then we're just gonna, if you want to ink it, and then we're gonna make this a pocket. We'll glue the 3 sides. And put that here. Looks pretty with the butterflies coming out like that. And then the next tag that we'll put in, we'll do this tag and we'll do this postcard, whichever one you'd like. And for this, I just sewed around a couple times, wonky stitching, and then I added some fabric, a little thicker piece. Not like that. And then not that long. Oh, I made that kind of thick. I don't want quite that much. And about like that. And then I went like this. And I put that there. I think I did add one of these buttons too, which you could do. I don't think I will on this one. So we're going to once again back these on coffee dyed paper. And I think on this one I did grid. So if I do have, no I didn't. This is on coffee dye too. And then I added a stamp. I did some wonky stitching, and then I just had a little lace there. So if we want to put our coffee dyed papers on the back, and then you can do some wonky stitching around these two, that would be great. And I'll see you right back here. Okay, I did some stitching, and then I added this fabric here. So that one is done. And then I have this, and I didn't have a flower stamp, so I just used one that had kind of a pinky type color. And then I added my lace here, so we have that postcard, and that goes in there. And then the next thing we have, take this little circle, and then I just inked it up, punched a hole, and then I just on the back I added a hole enforcer that's been inked. Put that on the back of that, and then just strung some string through it, about like that. I think this was thicker. I just took some of it apart to make it a little thinner, this sparkly trim. I think I'll just put it through like this and knot it. Maybe knot it twice. And then